what would you describe as what besides the fact that the light is on, let's say, what would you describe as that shift? How would you describe that shift for them?
Well, first of all, if they are skeptical, then skeptical for me means that if they don't see that something is possible and they have an emotional connotation that it's impossible, that if that's the situation that what you call professional consultants are in, then I would say that the first lesson they could learn is that skepticism is a way of holding yourself away from lessons. So what I hear then is that they haven't learned that it's very important to take yourself seriously if you doubt something, but you can use that doubt to stay away from those things that you doubt, or you can use it to very quickly discover whether your doubt is based in reality or that it's based in personality, yeah, which would be the emotional limitation that stop you from learning what's possible. And the way to do it is very easy, is that you say, okay, so what makes me doubt it? Then devise a discovery process around that doubt that will show, in fact, whether you can falsify the how do you call it, beweringen, the statements that other people are making, or statements that are being made by a certain program of what's possible. So if you will say what's possible is possible, and you say, well, I doubt it, then go there and prove that you cannot have that experience. And if you do not succeed, then obviously it's possible. It's a way of learning. It's a completely different approach to your own reactions to things you learn or hear or experience.
So what I take at least away from it, then in that case, it would be that the state that they're in, skeptical, aggressive toward, is actually the basis for the interaction that helps them get free of it.
Yeah, as long as they're honest about the fact that they're skeptical and that they are willing to devise a test that will definitely show whether their skepticism was realistic or not, then those people should especially come forward. And the way that I envision such an experiment, which it actually is that I would like them to come forward with a situation where they see that no solutions are possible anymore, so where situations that they would step away from, and that we would agree that if there's something that I can see that could be done, that has a possibility of solving the whole issue that they see is unsolvable, and they also see that there's no reason not to try that, so that would mean that the perspective, if they want to use that the paradigm from which I go or start is more encompassing than whatever it is that they're using to counter their problems. And that in itself, as a suggested experiment, would already have to intrigue them if they are really serious about their profession.
So in that way, it's taking it as a conviction or a belief and giving them the freedom that not to make that a part of their limitation in a situation.
Use it to investigate, and as long as the outcome is in line with what they already expected, you cannot say that they haven't learned anything. You could actually say that they've learned something. And if it proves contrary to what they're expecting, it's very clear that they've learned something. So either way, they can learn, and the only way to learn is by accepting the challenge. Unless, of course, beforehand it's already clear that it's impossible, and you can also show why it's impossible. But in that case, I would really like to hear from them, because then I can learn from them, which would be a very welcome opportunity.
The thought right now, the sticking with this thought, I always think about it, again, comparing to all the trainings I've done before that had a lot of structure, a lot of I normally go back with a folder book of paper, and then it'd always go on a shelf, and I'd always say, oh, it's somewhere, and I need to do something with project management. Oh, I'll take out my folder again. And what you brought forward just now was the fact that a lot of the training is about what the person brings in with them. So actually, the skepticism for me is also a part of the training. How do you describe what's standard in the training and what's the aspect of the individual that they bring with them in terms of an interaction?
Well, standard, if you call that standard, is we all work from models, yeah, how the world works, and I have such a model as well. So what I do is I take everything I understand, have experienced, and concluded from that, yeah, and I make it explicit. And the way I do it is by portraying it in a very simple model that, as far as I see, takes complete account of everything that I see, know, and cannot deny. Okay, and that model is the basis for the interaction that we're going to have, and the guideline for moving towards the realizations that we see are possible. So that part would be the structural part. We need to bring forward vocabulary and the what's the word for saman?
Connection, or?
Yeah, the connection between the words and the concepts within that model, so we at least can start to talk the same language. Yeah? And we can have interactions around the meaning of those words, and then we come to a certain decision. And from that we say, okay, so if everybody can live with this model conception and the words that we use for that, then now we have a basis to start confronting our individual perspectives to discover the limitations and the possibilities are in there, and maybe come to a new perception of what would take all that into account. Now, our side in the training and in our interactions, this responsibility that we take is that as they are going through these paradigm shifts, that which they are, yeah, it's a new perspective. If it's all encompassing, then it causes a complete restructuring of all the meaning that was previously there. A new perspective causes you to see things in a new light. It's for us, it's not about changing their paradigms so much as it is about becoming aware what are the ingredients, what are the circumstances for paradigms to shift in a way that they become more encompassing. So, and the promise behind it is that it's possible to become aware of that in such a way that you sense that your paradigm is incapable of explaining all the things you can't deny. And that, and once you're there, that the confidence exists that it's only a matter of allowing that realization to grow, that is needed for a new paradigm to occur that will take into account all those aspects that you couldn't previously unit or combine. And our job is to help people recognize what it is that just changed the moment they see something anew. Because through that recognition and repetition of that recognition, something universal is discovered about paradigm shifts in general. And that's the new dimension that is added to the picture. So normally it's like, well, I have a new paradigm and I don't know who I was before, but this is who I am now. And what we're trying to do is, okay, so this is who you were before, this is who you are now. What changed and what were the circumstances and what did you do or leave out in order for that to become possible? And the moment they're there, and once they see the connection and they see it so clearly that there's nothing that is unexplained and everything is explained for what they just experienced, then that's where the light turns on.